Ready for you then?
Apologize for running a little bit late this morning.
Fine. So were we.
I got 6 miles from home this morning and remembered I left all the stuff that I had printed out last night at home, so I had to run back and get it, and so then I was running late ever since. I'm Randy Raby, Director of the Northwest Kansas Planning and Development Commission. Basically, I guess as much as anything, I kind of wanted to visit with you guys a little bit. You know, we own the apartments in Bird City, and partly because of the taxes increased about threefold on us, and then so we were paying a monthly fee or monthly tax amount based on the previous ones, but then we kind of quit paying the one. So anyway, we've got that all taken care of now. The taxes are all up to date. I guess as much as anything, the dues for the county's share were not paid last year, which is somewhere around $3,200. But what I printed out there was that these are the dues that were paid on that first page in 2021, which you can see St. Francis paid their half was $31.64, and the county paid their half. Then if you look on 2020, the city of St. Francis paid the $32.16, but we did not receive the county's share that year. And then same with 2019 shows the county share and the city of St. Francis share. And basically, kind of what I was just...
The city of Bird City doesn't pay any of this, and that's considered county.
Well, yeah, they're considered part of the county. Now, a biggest share of the counties pay the full dues. They gradually got to split. Now, I mean, I think it's always been half and half up here. Hoxie and Sheridan County kind of split theirs a third and two-thirds for the counties. I think Wallace County and Logan County both just about a year ago or 2 years ago, they started splitting theirs up too. So the city pays part and the county pays part of it. But most of the counties fund the whole thing. And it's based on 1/10 of a mil on the county's assessed valuation. And that's what it's been ever since 1967 or whenever it was that it started. So I guess I printed them out partly just to show you kind of, you know, which counties, how much each one pays. Now we have had Ellis County, you know, a year ago decided they were paying too much money, so they dropped out. I don't agree with that. I fought them. I showed them where we got the city of Ellis $1.4 million in actual grants over a 2-year period. And Ellis County decided, well, you know, we're paying too much of a share, because their share was about $40,000 out of the 130 total that we get. But by the same token, when you look at the statistics that we look at a lot of times, 60% of the retail trade for Hays comes from outside of Hays. So that means, you know, 60% of the sales tax coming in is from the surrounding counties. So, you know, to me, it's only fair for Ellis County to pay a little bit more. But I guess that's an argument for another day. On some of the community development block grants, the one thing that I missed was on 2021. On this sheet, we didn't get all the COVID grants. We've got 6 more COVID grants that should be added onto there. But you can see in 2020, the city of St. Francis got one of the CDBG COVID grants for $173,000. Now, part of that was for business loans or business grants, and part of it was for the senior Meals on Wheels and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then they got a $600,000 grant for the street projects. You look back even like 2016, Cheyenne County got an ambulance, got a $116,000 grant, that microloan for $100,000, but I think most of that was turned back, partly because I guess there wasn't enough businesses that qualified at that time. 2013, Bird City got a water project for $320,000. So that and just like I kind of told the gentleman there, I did an EDA report just about a month ago, and over the last 5 years alone, we've done $81 million in business loans throughout Northwest Kansas, and actually $31.5 million in infrastructure projects as far as water, streets, and sewer, and ambulance, and everything. So I guess we don't toot our horn very much, but we do a lot of projects, and just like the duplexes there in Bird City, we've actually built 132 houses or duplexes throughout Northwest Kansas. So, we probably actually built more affordable housing units than any other developer in all of Northwest Kansas. As far as the taxes paid, I did print out what we paid to Cheyenne County. We protested some of that. I know you're probably involved, but we paid $34,000 and then we got $10,000 back. So $23,685 is the net amount that we've paid since 2016, and that doesn't include what's going to be due here in December. Then there's also a sheet in there that's got kind of colored on the left-hand side. And these are the applications that just went in this year. Probably won't hear on approval on most of these until after the first of the year sometime. But I guess as much as anything, I partly wanted to come up here, and I didn't know if you wanted a copy of this or not. Come up here and just visit with you a little bit and see if we could collect the amount of dues that were due from 2020. And part of the reason was when the whole Ellis County deal came up, the board of directors voted. Ellis County had come to us and said, well, we're not going to pay this year, but we'll consider it next year. And the board of directors says, no, we're not going to have counties just skipping a year and then paying every other year or something like that. And so they requested that I come, and I did send Helen Dobbs an email. She was going to come here today too, but I
wish I could have talked with her, because we've talked a little bit about some of this stuff in the past, and I know she wasn't too happy about some of the stuff that was going on. I'm not sure what it was.
Now, Helen's been on our board for a lot of years. I mean, I don't even know how long, but she's been on there on the PCDI side of it for a long time.
Maybe I'm confused with what she was talking about, but I'm not sure.
Helen and I have just had our disagreements, I will say that, but we've still done a lot of projects in Cheyenne County. I mean, a number, even the restaurant there in Bird City, we funded enough to kind of keep that open through the whole process. The one automatic car wash we did up here, I can't think. We've done a number of business loans that, we do the financing kind of behind the scenes, but we don't always like people don't want their financial information out in front of the public, and so but we do a lot of business loans throughout Northwest Kansas, and we've got revolving loan funds that we utilize. And
so basically, your directors have sent you here to say either you're in or you're out, either you're going to pay dues every year or you're out.
Right. exactly.
But this
And
is kind of a unique situation because the reason that the 2020 wasn't paid is because there were delinquent real estate taxes.
Right,
It was
right.
not a matter of, you know what, you know,
Right.
there was a solid reason that the commissioners made the decision
Right,
that they did.
and I don't disagree with that.
Right, and so
whatsoever.
And as it shows in what you have provided is as soon as those taxes were taken care of, Cheyenne County's back paying their dues in 2021.
But they still owed 2020, because we had to pay the 2020 taxes. That's what I'm saying.
But there was no benefit received from 2020.
Other than the taxes we paid amounted to more than the dues amount. I guess what I'm saying is, we caught up the past due dues, or past due taxes, excuse me. And so I guess I feel like the past due dues should be paid also.
So what benefits can Cheyenne County get from 2020 programs
Well,
as a member?
It was like,
Okay.
what, 21,000?
St. Francis got $173,600
But
in
St.
actual
Francis
grant
pays a
funds.
portion of the dues, right?
Well, they do, but they just pay half. I mean, it's, the total dues for the counties is $60-some hundred.
Right.
But we can't just have one city saying, we're going to pay this much or pay that much, and the rest of the county's out, other than, I'll say that, and Ellis County is something that we're really working with right now, is because the city of Ellis, by themselves, they've decided that they want in even though the county's out. So the city's dues themselves was $3,500, just for the city themselves. But we can't do anything outside the city limits.
So are you saying that if the commissioners do not pay that difference for 2020, Cheyenne County will get no benefits through this program?
Well, I'm saying that's something that the board of directors is going to have to look at, because I do know that they said that, you know, we're not going to, their exact comment was, we're not going to have counties not paying 1 year and then paying the next year just because they've got a project that year and then skipping.
But
Here's the
wasn't-
problem. This was over multiple years. You guys were notified multiple years and took no action until this Board of Commission finally said that enough. We're not paying dues until the taxes are paid.
Yeah. But
And it still took beyond that to get the taxes paid.
I guess, from my perspective, you know, we were paying the same amount of taxes that we had always paid
You'd
until
been
they tripled.
notified that wasn't
Right.
paying enough. Our appraiser had
Right.
talked to you, what
Right.
you
I
needed
know.
to do, and no action was
And
taken
we-
for
and we
several
finally-
years.
Yeah. I agree. But I will say one thing, that the financial statements on the duplexes and the two houses there in Bird City, since they've started, we've lost $33,000 total there. I mean, that's how much money we've taken out of the housing organization to supplement that and, you know, pay the taxes on that particular facility. And so I mean, I'll take responsibility for the taxes not being paid. Lois was our housing director. She had quit, and then it kind of got thrown in my lap. Other than I've been on the housing board since the beginning, actually started the nonprofit.
But the 2020 dues were basically an ultimatum. Either the back taxes get paid or we're out.
The dues.
Right.
I'm just saying that
And once
that
the back
I would just
taxes-
take it back to the
Yeah,
board.
I mean, once
That's-
the back taxes were paid, Cheyenne County paid their part 2021, no problem.
Right.
And it was all a matter of the real estate taxes not being paid.
Right.
And it wasn't a decision on, oh, you know what, we don't have any projects this year. Or, you know, that type of mind thought. This was more of,
Because we probably missed out on some money through the COVID
right,
by staying out. But
Well, I wouldn't say that, because everybody was sent information on what grants were available. I know Karina and Justine sent that out to everybody. Every county in our region. And, you know, like I said, St. Francis did receive $170,000. And I know that's St. Francis, but St. Francis is Cheyenne County. I mean, that's just kind of the way it is.
But the county itself could have applied for some grants.
And St. Francis
they
did
wanted
pay.
to.
Just
Yeah,
the
they
county
did, but
did.
they were.
The county could have applied also, yes.
No, but I mean, St. Francis did pay their
half, right.
but we did not because of the back taxes.
Right.
So it's cost us money too to get this
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that.
possible
'Cause
loss of grants.
I mean, you got more taxes back than what the dues amounted to. I mean, it's,
I don't think that's a fair analysis.
No, because you needed to pay all that so that they could go through the process of getting that out, to get that abated. 'Cause some of those taxes were abated.
Well, I think to
I don't think
compare
so.
the amount of taxes that are being paid as compared to the dues, I mean, everyone in Cheyenne County is basically assessed on the same rates when they own property when it comes to taxes. And for you to come in and say, well, you got $33,000 or $24,000 at the end of the day, and all you need to pay is so much to be a part of our organization, I don't get the logic of that argument. Because dues are for benefits for that given year. And 2020 is gone. And there's no way that Cheyenne County can reap any sort of benefit by being a member from 2020. And the whole reason that those dues were not paid by Cheyenne County is because there were delinquent taxes.
right.
Okay?
But I guess from my perspective, the delinquent taxes were paid. So
Yeah, but they were paid at a
why would we
different time.
not be,
They were paid in 2021. They weren't-
right, but why would we not be eligible for the past dues that were due?
There's no benefit to be gained.
No, well,
There's
I take-
no, I mean, when you pay dues, why do you?
okay,
pay
so
dues?
when the city of St. Francis, even though that's in Cheyenne County, they get $600,000 in actual grant funds.
From 2016.
That probably wouldn't, no, this was 2020. That's no benefit to Cheyenne County?
It's administered by the city of St.
I
Francis.
realize that, but St. Francis is Cheyenne County. I mean, it's not a separate city sitting off by itself somewhere. It is Cheyenne County. And so they get 600,000 there, they get 173,000 there. 2016, you got an ambulance grant that was 116,000.
But
You know,
they
that
were members during
if you
those.
take that 116,000 pays your dues for 30 years.
But sir, they paid dues for that year to take advantage of benefits or grants that could be provided during that year. It's a
Well-
part, it's a
You're
perk of
not
being
going to
a
get
member.
a grant every year. I can tell you. I mean,
Right.
it just
Understood,
won't
and
happen.
that's
So
the-
so you want to be a member and be an active member. To reap the benefit when the time comes that you do need the money available. But I guess I'm just here to kind of present. This is kind of where we're at.
I, for one, don't see where it does us any good to pay back, pay past dues for the simple reason of why it came about, that they weren't paying the
Right,
taxes. So I would not be in favor of paying them.
The only reason that the taxes were not paid was just because they increased threefold and at the time,
Yeah,
and
but-
then we actually just didn't have the money to.
Right, but they
pay
still
that.
weren't paid regardless.
But they are paid.
They're
now.
paid now.
Yeah.
Do they own any other property in any other counties?
Do we? Yeah, we've got 132 houses or duplexes throughout northwest Kansas. I mean, we got
Did
like,
you pay the taxes in those counties?
yes, we have. We did.
You
We
didn't pay
were, to be honest, we were behind on, I was trying to think if it was Goodland. I don't think it was Goodland. It was one of the others. I think it was Russell maybe, because we've got 4 duplex units and 6 houses there, and I think we were behind there because we had about $20,000 worth of repairs we had to make to the houses that were kind of tore up. But everybody in the whole region is current right at this point in time.
Well, I wasn't here in 2020, but I wouldn't have paid it if I would have been in here if you hadn't paid your taxes, just because that's how we generate the funds that we do pay for things.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Are you saying, is your point that if we don't pay 2020, we cannot be a member?
I'm just saying that's something that I would just take back to the board to let.
Well, I guess, we'll make sure the board knows that the taxes weren't paid, and we, which you probably know, but I would think that since the taxes weren't paid, your board will probably say, well, they're a valued customer, and they paid their 2021, and I would think I'd leave it at that. I'm just saying, from a business perspective, I pay my taxes. I'm always a little bit late, close to the cutoff, because I juggle. But in a situation, Roger said, did you pay all the other counties' taxes? And you did. I've done business with you when I was in office 14 through 17. But I'm just telling you, as a businessman, I know exactly where these guys and our county attorneys are coming from. So that's just my personal opinion. No disrespect to you, but I just want you to know that's a bad business deal to me, to pay when we're not being paid.
Right.
So, and that's up to your board, I guess, is how I look at it. What do you think? Okay.
I guess my question too, because I know this will come up, is what happens to Cheyenne County that you say you're not going to pay dues or be members, and then a project comes up and says,
We're not saying we're not going to pay
well,
dues.
We paid
I'm saying we're not
2021,
going to
didn't
be
we?
past.
We've already paid
well,
2021.
I realize that.
So-
but on our books, you show delinquent $3,200.
But we're not saying we're not going to pay our dues from here on out. We're just saying we don't feel that we should go back and pay dues that we didn't benefit from because of
To present it to your board would be my suggestion, and I guess get back to us and let us know,
Okay.
because personally,
Does the board know why we didn't pay them?
Yes, they do.
and how do they feel about that? Because I think I'd be pretty much embarrassed and I wouldn't want to bring it up, especially on a televised meeting. Would be my thing, but
I went and talked to Amanda. It was around $25,000 in taxes paid. But since they're affordable housing, no information was ever provided to Amanda that was the finances and stuff. So it wasn't ever listed at a reduced rate for affordable housing. And then it took them paying the full amount and then getting it abated, and we abated back almost $11,000 of that 25.
Yep.
Well, I think we just leave it as. I don't think I'm not in favor of paying back. I don't know if there's anybody else.
I wasn't here, but
and
as
if
a
not, I think
businessman,
we just leave it at that and see what happens here.
and I guess if they, I don't know. I'll cross that, what I'm thinking, when it really
Well,
does.
I'll just take it to the
And I'm
board
sorry.
Timing-wise, I'm just trying to think. We won't have a November meeting because our annual meeting's December 1st and 2nd. The first is going to be in Waukegan, and the second is in Phillipsburg. And then typically, because of Christmas and everything, we don't have a December meeting, so it may not come before the board until our January meeting. But I could send it out, email it out to them.
I think I'd email it out, get their opinion, and let us know.
Okay, I can
So,
do that.
I'm just,
Who owns those apartments? Is it Pioneer?
No, it's Northwest, and that's a confusing part. It's Northwest Kansas Housing, which is a whole separate nonprofit, 501c3, governed by a different board and everything. It actually is completely separate from the Planning Commission. They're two separate entities. Even though it's housed in the same building and everything, it's a separate nonprofit, it's run by a separate board.
you said they got back 11.
How many years were they delinquent before they finally paid?
We're 3, I believe.
Yeah, they just stayed off the tax sale.
That's all I want to know. I think you got really close to being on tax sale.
Yeah, right. And that's where it kind of came up. We were paying the, $2,500 a year or something like that, that we were sending in monthly tax payments. So we were paying part of the taxes, just not the full amount. We were paying the same amount that we had been paying before the increase.
Well, the way I see it
I think
is,
you need to go back to your board. Tell them, we had our reasons, we want to be members, but we are not paying back dues, because it cost us a little money too.
I
Whether
think,
they think it did or not, we do. We think it cost us money.
I think we just leave it at that and whatever, whatever your board says.
I don't think it's a
is-
matter of gaining or losing that money, Roger. I think it's a matter of the real estate taxes weren't paid. They were delinquent. Cheyenne County was not going to pay the dues because the real estate taxes were delinquent. The real estate taxes were paid, Cheyenne County's back in. That's all Cheyenne County wanted, was the back taxes paid, and then they would be members again.
I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'll just take it, I'll email it to the board, so that way everybody gets it, and get everybody's opinion, so
I
we
think
can do
that'd
that,
be
and
best.
then just,
Yeah.
whatever
I
they,
guess if they want to throw us out, they throw us out.
Well, then we get 2021 taxes feedback? I mean, seriously, if they're throwing us out because of 2020, because we didn't pay it because there was back taxes, but we paid it in 2021, and they go and say, hey, we don't want them in here anymore because they didn't pay that, then I would fully expect to get the 2021 back. I mean, if you're going to kick us out of that.
I'm not wanting to kick anybody out, let's put it that way. I mean, the whole Ellis County deal has just drove me completely berserk, just because I see the benefit, that they receive, and then they're not wanting to pay the dues. And I will say one other thing, that I know in the state strategic plan, right now they're looking at more and more of these monies coming through the regional organization and as a region, and so that's just one more reason to just we've got to work together out here, or none of us is going to survive. That's the bottom line. Nobody likes consolidation.
When that wheel doesn't go all the way around because somebody doesn't pay their taxes,
Right.
there are repercussions to that wheel.
Right.
So, anyway,
Okay, I'll talk to the board
Good to
about
see
it.
you again.
And, yeah, you too.
drive
And
safe on your way back.
I'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you.
The salesman was here and just wanted to introduce him to you guys. This is Doug Minson, and then Mark
From Foley,
From Caterpillar.
Colby. Yeah, Doug Minson.
Willie Martinez.
Doug Minson.
Nice to meet you. Willie.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
So you delivered us a tractor today then?
taking
or,
Dustin
Uh-huh, we got one in and we'll get the other one up here.
That's great.
So does Dustin Daniels still help you guys?
No, I'm the
You're
one
the guy
that's
now?
their kids.
Okay.
It's funny because when I call people, they'll say Dustin, and I said, no, we got to change that in your phone. And I actually work with him too, so he's been a wealth of knowledge.
You too. Well, he
Well, if you ever get a long arm up here, let me know, because I'd like to rent it and get some of the Perry's out of my pond.
Really?
Yeah, I talked to Dustin about it several
What's
times.
that?
We just bought a brand new motor grader and I get a card.
There's actually some hats at the shop.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Dustin always gives us hats.
There's some hats at the shop.
Yeah, and all the guys up there are wearing them.
No, I'd laugh extra under it. And you have to wear one too.
I can do that.
So you got it up here.
Yeah, we got one, and the other one will be here probably mid.
You get done, you're welcome, if you let us know when you're gonna be there, you're welcome to come out and take a peek at it.
I got some area, you can come out and show me how it works.
I got rid of my house.
How soon,
It doesn't have a steering wheel.
I'll call you.
Because the reason I asked, I've got it out here right now.
Well, I'll talk to you, because
Yeah, give me a holler.
I need to go out, I need to get some areas, and I've already built a trench for it. Built that 5 years ago, so. Anyway,
There's only a couple of them in the rental fleet, and one guy's using it, there's 3 of them using it the next 3 weeks, so.
it's a 60-foot long arm?
I'm not sure how long on that 326. I'm not sure how.
60 foot would be awful big for a 326, wouldn't it? 60 foot would be a long for a 326 excavator, wouldn't it?
That's what you
I
need.
think so.
You need-
That'd be strange.
Pretty long.
Yeah,
I'm running a 98,000 pound Mitsubishi right now,
yeah.
so.
That's what everybody's gonna do.
You're not running it. You told me
It's
that.
running me.
You told me the filters are all plugged this morning.
No, that's my loader. My John Deere loader.
Oh, it's your motor.
Yeah, it's my loader.
We can help you out
But
with
we
it.
need to fix
smell your
that
hands?
too. You give me a call, we'll
Did
get
you
you
smell
all
your
set.
hands after you shook?
All right.
Stinks like diesel.
I went and I washed them twice.
We appreciate it very much, guys.
Nice to meet you guys. Thank you.
Doug's new,
I'm the product support rep, so I
Okay.
support parts and service, so
All right.
I come usually try once a month, or if they need me to come up. I measure the undercarriage on the dozers and the excavator.
You don't want to look at mine. I've got holes in my.
And, you know, these
Star looks like a
148s are
circle.
getting a lot of hours, you know,
I want one of
sometime, I'm
those.
not sure Mark is gonna have to come up and kinda, you know,
They're fun.
interest you guys in doing a
Certified rebuild, powertrain rebuild, what we do is we rebuild the whole powertrain on a machine. You can paint it or not paint it, but sometimes,
Dave said that those are good machines and he'd like to rebuild some. Didn't you?
Yep.
I'd like to some point and bring Doug along. We'll just sit down, I'll give you a little presentation and explain it, and then we can work from there. But you need to understand what it is, if it's right for you. So we take, that thing is stripped down, when you do it from behind the cab, stripped down, we go through everything.
Really?
And you guys, there's certain parts that CAT does, says we gotta do, and then you can add or not add what you want after that, like.
And some
sprucing
people
up the
want them both
cab.
ways, so we can present prices for that.
Right.
And, hey, let's see what
What's
price
best
for
for
a new
you.
used, new unit is with
Right.
governmental discounts, and then you guys can weigh that as well.
Yeah, I'd love to do that sometime when we can set it up here, whenever I'll talk, keep in touch.
I was a
with Dave.
commissioner years ago and we took a trip back to the factory. Where'd we go?
Peoria, Illinois.
That was an amazing trip.
Yeah,
I
it's
really,
neat to
really
see it.
enjoyed it.
Yes.
We'll try to get those going again. Caterpillar shut a
Really?
lot of those down, but they're starting to free them and open them back up. I guess there was this thing called COVID, they said.
I haven't heard of it. I'd like to see an 11,
Yeah.
D11R.
They're big,
We
they're
went out
big.
there that time, remember they showed us that big loader they'd just got done building?
994,
It was,
it's like crawling up on it.
and they
Need an
went,
elevator
they
to
parked
get
it
up.
out in the parking lot downtown for a weekend to show it. And they left it over the weekend, they come back and it fell through the concrete.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, they're hundreds of thousands of
I mean,
pounds.
the concrete was made for cars, not that thing.
Yeah. Probably had 5 or 6 inch base on there.
Yeah, it
So
just fell
Caterpillar
through
got
it.
poured
Yeah.
with concrete.
Well, thank you
That was
guys very
probably
much.
12, 15 years ago or even more.
Well, but the thing that I remember about it, that whole thing was that outfit, 3,300 gallons of fluids.
That's a big 994.
I mean, that was the fuel, the transmission
They're big.
fluids, water. 3,300 gallons, holy mackerel, right there would have went through my driveway.
Oh, that'd be expensive if it fell off.
We'll leave you.
Here's something
Appreciate
that took me over 24 hours to get that cap back on there. Came off the smooth sprocket side.
Oh, wow.
I went to adjust my tracks about 12 years ago, decided to take the Zerk out, and it completely collapsed, and it won't take grease now. So when I turn, I have to lift one side up and jog around.
What kind of excavator is
This
it?
is a Mitsubishi MS 380-2, but that fell off on a slope, and every time I try to go forward, it tried to go in the pond. So I had to dig a channel to get it out.
To get it out of there?
Yeah, it was fun.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you two guys,
Thank
too.
you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Sorry, I went back and I checked my emails and I remembered something that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I wanted your advice on it as well.
Okay.
Tax statements this year, I've talked to Amanda about it. In the past, we've done split statements. So if a piece of farm ground is divided up by different, siblings or whatever, we've been splitting out the tax statements for them and mailing them out individual tax statements for their little portion. The problem that has come up is when one sibling doesn't pay their one little portion, and the first person on the deed is the one that hits the paper. And when I went to my regional treasurers meeting a couple weeks ago, the other treasurers really advised me to not do split statements. Some of them have gotten to legal battles.
It doesn't seem to make much sense.
It's more of a courtesy for them that we do the math for them, but then that also puts it back on us that we've provided all of these individual tax statements when it's really one owner, one tax statement. If they want to mail in 5 different checks because 5 different people are paying for them, then that's fine, but that's on them. That shouldn't be on us.
All right.
So we're to a point where we can't make any changes for this coming tax year, these new tax statements that are coming out in a couple of weeks. But I have talked to Amanda about not doing it for next year. But I want to put something in with the tax statements to let them know. I just don't know how to word it.
So how are you going to get a hold of all these people and get a designation as to which one it's sent to?
Amanda already has that.
Okay.
So, and Amanda, and then in the system it has the primary one and then it has all the secondary ones. And so right now the primary one gets one, all the secondary ones get their own. And so next year just the primary one's going to get it. They'll still be listed, but so we already have the information that we have to change back to not doing split statements. I just want to, and when we print statements, the splits all get printed in their own little stack, so I can add a piece of paper just to those people to let them know that next year this is not going to be happening. I just don't know how to word it without just saying, no, we're not doing this anymore.
Figure out your own split.
Yeah. So, and I don't know if you guys are gonna get phone calls about.
Would most of that stuff be in a trust or a corporation?
Some of it is, some of it isn't. Some of it's just, John Smith owns this and Jane Smith pays this,
Three of them
and
own 1/4 land together.
yeah,
That's how our Sherman County stuff is, but we just get one bill for
Right.
each property.
right. So I wanted to let you guys know because I don't know if there's going to be some backlash from taxpayers about that coming to an end. But I also wanted to get your assistance, and we can email or
Okay.
talk about it later. But I just wanted
I
to.
think it's more simple than what you're thinking. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a matter of from here on out, Cheyenne County will only be sending one tax statement to the primary
Right.
as listed with the appraiser's office, and it will be up to the landowners to determine the split and get the taxes paid.
Yeah.
I think it's just as simple as that.
Okay, perfect. Then if we can
Yeah.
get something typed up, that way I can get it on some neon paper
Right.
to throw in the.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm probably, if somebody calls me, I'm gonna say, the treasurer has the right to do this. Sorry.
And it is between the treasurer and the appraiser to work on that.
I mean, it's really not, it's your office.
Right. I just wanted to let you guys know
That
that.
I'm gonna get a phone call.
Yep.
Yeah, but
You
what-
might.
But the reason that this is all being prompted and whatnot is because people are upset because one of the other landowners isn't paying their taxes, and they're the one that show up in the paper.
yeah.
And no one really likes to see their name in the paper for not paying their taxes.
Right.
So this is to protect everyone who has multiple landowners
Right.
from getting their name in the paper when they aren't the guilty party.
Right. Well, and you have some people that just one person owns it, but the person that's actually leasing the ground is paying the taxes, and it gets into muddy water, and I don't want the county in muddy water. I think it just needs to be cut and dry. The landowner gets a tax statement. They take care of paying the taxes however they want to get it
And I mean,
handled.
you might put something in there about, if you want the primary changed, if you want to, confirm who the primary is,
Right.
at mailing address, et
Right,
cetera.
right.
That would be good too.
Yeah, then they can contact the appraiser and make sure that it gets set up correctly for the next year, because there might be something that changes. So yeah, I just wanted to get something out there for them to get us, the county, out.
Watch the meeting. You just got it out there.
There you go.
Email all of them a copy of the meeting.
So did you guys figure out the recycling money?
I was just going to talk about that.
Okay. So I didn't want to hold the check. So I made a separate fund line in general just for this recycle money. So it can be
And
tracked.
That's on the 2 Sunoco checks we've received.
Yeah.
Do you want this put in that, or do you want to equipment reserve?
Right now it's just reimbursed recycle. I didn't know what to name it, but I made its own line item so it can be tracked.
I just put it in that, and then we could,
If you want it in that, that's fine.
And
because
then-
if we have to pay for the compactors and everything,
Yeah.
it's gonna come out
Well,
of there.
what we're mainly interested in is that the monies go back into recycling in some manner.
Well, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, all the Sunoco checks will go into that.
This one line item,
So
so,
what earmarked for that
yeah.
account. line
That way
item.
if the auditors need to, we can transfer money or we can pay it out of something or whatever, but at least it's trackable in its own little line item.
That's fine.
So it doesn't need to be an equipment reserve then, does it?
No, and that,
As long as,
That'll work better anyway.
No, because it's not taxpayer money.
right.
So it can be used kind of like a grant.
Yeah, right now it's just under general, but it has its own specific.
Right.
So just the Sunoco checks will go into this one line. And if I need to right now it's just a revenue, but if I need to make an expense, then we can do that to pay something out of it. So,
yeah, we got a lot to talk about on
yeah, I figured this would be the easiest way to get started on it, and then you guys can figure out what you need, but, okay, so I need to get an invoice for this one too. Okay, perfect.
I didn't know that we pretty well funded all of the recycling.
I knew that Cheyenne County gave a good
I mean,
portion,
but
but
I didn't realize it was really, I mean,
Well-
the city owns the building though, don't they?
yeah,
Well, I know, like in Birch City, that they put a tax on the water, on each water meter, and I assumed that it was coming back to the county for that.
Well, I'll
city
tell you, the
got it
city of
taken
St.
care of.
Francis
They manage it,
put a
right?
lot of money in, just
lot of work.
personnel wise,
Yeah.
JR is always working, so.
And then on liquor tax and special liquor, I didn't know, there is money in there, and with this being the final distribution, I don't distribute this in the distribution. This is something that you guys do. I don't know if there's a
there's
staff.
no automatic on it.
Yeah, I don't.
That's
so
the thing. It's not an automatic, because someone came in one time and said, I want this money, that it goes to them every year.
Right.
That is an annual thing.
yeah, so I haven't done anything with it.
How
so
much is in there?
11,000.
total, special alcohol and drug has 3,100, and there's plain old liquor tax has 78. Sorry, you look at the end of the report, you get your end balance. 7,800. So
But
there's.
was that, because when you're dealing with counties under 6,000, how is that divided? I always have to look at the statute.
I don't know. I haven't done. I've been doing other things, and this has been kind of low on the list. But I wanted to bring it up to you guys.
I have the
that-
stats.
Well, here, what I'm trying to get to is that there were monies that were promised to the treasurer and to the veterans. And I'm trying to remember if they actually got those monies.
I don't think we got the Birch
The
City
veterans
Thresher,
did,
but the Thresher
the
did.
Thresher is not.
Okay.
Can we go into executive session for 5 minutes or? advice of council.
I make a motion, we go into 5 minutes executive session for advice of council.
I'll second it. Hey, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I just flipped this off.
Yeah.